Hello, welcome to the lunch edition of MBC News, and you are with me, Evelys Chingambe. Our top stories. Parliament passes the 2026-2027 national budget pegged at 10.97 trillion kwacha. Parents and guardians urged to ensure that their wards aged 0 to 10 get vaccinated for polio. And government reviews its national cultural policy to establish a conducive environment for women in the creative industry. Thank you for joining us. Now to our first story. Parliament has passed the 2026-2027 national budget pegged at 10.97 trillion kwacha. The approval follows the successful passing of 59 votes allocated to various government ministries, departments and agencies earlier on Tuesday. We have a report by Catherine Banda and Beatrice Mwabe.
After a long day deliberations, scrutinizing and seeking clarifications, members of Parliament passed the 2026-2027 national budget. The one-day Committee of Supply started with the State Residences vote and concluded with the Malawi Law Commission vote. Among others, the Ministry of Agriculture has received a lion's share of over 971 billion kwacha, subvented organizations receiving over 440 billion kwacha. Roads Fund Administration receiving 447 billion kwacha, Ministry of Health and Sanitation receiving over 558 billion kwacha, and Ministry of Education, Science and Technology has received over 316 billion kwacha. Speaking after passing the budget, the Minister of Finance, Joseph Mwanamveka, assured people in the country that Parliament will play its oversight role to ensure the funds are being used prudently.
And I want to assure to the nation that we will take them into account and make sure that this budget is being implemented properly and to the benefit of Malawians. And in addition to that, I also want to ensure that for this budget to be implemented, there is need for oversight. And oversight is not only Parliament. Even the people in the constituency have a role to play. The chiefs have a role to play. The councillors have a role to play. So together, if we work together to implement this budget, which I believe that I think it speaks to the wishes of Malawians, and I believe that if we all monitor, if we work together, I'm sure we're going to have a successful year, the year 2026-2027.
On issues raised by the Budget and Finance Committee of Parliament on debt management, foreign currency and financial levies, among others, the Minister says government has given priority to ensure forex availability and it is working to address other financial hitches.
The major challenge that we have as a Minister of Finance that we need to tackle head on is the issue of foreign exchange availability. I am aware that the business is suffering. People that go outside Malawi, let's say to Tanzania, Zambia, are struggling to go to do their business. And I am aware also that the private sector is failing to get raw materials. I want to assure them that this government will make sure that we have foreign exchange, and not in the black market. The foreign exchange will be with the banks. So that's what we'll try as much as possible to do. Once we address the issue of foreign exchange, I can assure you that now the economy will be moving into the right direction. I'm saying this because the other macroeconomic fundamentals are moving very well.
The Minister says the budget is responding to the needs of Malawians and has also incorporated some inputs that various organizations raised.
Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Decentralization, Joseph Mwanamveka, has announced that government is auditing the construction of 10,000 houses for security personnel. Mwanamveka explained that the project was halted after government uncovered mismanagement of funds. He has, however, assured the public that this will not affect the ongoing construction of houses for persons with albinism.
I believe that there was some mismanagement there. We need to be addressed before we give more resources. But for the houses for the people for albinism, I think the resources are provided. You can check on they are there. But the audit is on the 10,000 houses for the police, for the army, for the prisons and all that. That's where the audit is taking place, not for the houses for the albinism.
The Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development has urged citizens to follow proper legal procedures and adhere to construction standards and institutional discipline. The minister responsible, Chimwe Chibungu, made these remarks during an interview with Embassy following a surprise visit to Livimbo in Lilongwe. The visit follows a tip-off that individuals are constructing warehouses in a residential area. He explained that the owners claimed to have permission from Lilongwe City Council to build the warehouses, prompting the ministry to launch an investigation into the matter.
We were tipped by Malawians of good standing of this plot. As you remember, in 2019, there was also an issue of illegal construction of the warehouses that we can see on that side. So people around here and Malawians were surprised to see these developers continuing the construction of their warehouses when they were given a stop. So we came here to check and to find out the reasons as to why they continued with their construction of warehouses on a settlement land. We have been notified that the City Assembly did give them an approval, of which we don't have as a line ministry. When we get back to the offices, we'll sit back and verify the documents if they are authentic and take appropriate action if necessary.
The Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, has received a 200 million kwacha donation from the National Oil Company of Malawi, NOCMA, to support the ongoing humanitarian assistance for households affected by floods following heavy rains in some parts of the country. Commissioner for DODMA, Wilson Molen, described the donation as timely, saying it will help cover part of the required 17 billion kwacha to assist affected communities. In its latest update, DODMA reports that between 15th and 20th March, a total of 39,000 households were affected by heavy rains, with 142 injuries and 29 deaths. Chisisi Moyo reports.
The donation by the National Oil Company of Malawi, NOCMA, is expected to ease the suffering and meet the immediate needs of people affected by extreme weather events. The Commissioner for the Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, Wilson Moleni, says there's an urgent need for humanitarian assistance as assessments are still underway.
As a department, we've been going around doing the assessments, distributing relief items to those affected. We do have a resource gap, and the donation done by NOCMA has come at the right time. We need relief items. We need food and non-food items for the affected households.
In her remarks, NOCMA Director of Finance, Sophia Mkandawire, commended DODMA for its efforts in coordinating disaster response. Mkandawire says NOCMA will continue working with relevant stakeholders to support the rehabilitation of selected health centers in the affected areas.
When there's a crisis, access to healthcare is critical. So sometimes the healthcare facilities in our remote areas maybe are not adequately resourced for disaster times like these ones. That's why we would like to partner with government in rehabilitating them so that people that have been impacted can access good healthcare.
Malawi has been experiencing normal to above normal rainfall, which has led to flooding in some disaster-prone areas. Chinsisi Moyo, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Principal Secretary for E-Government Department in the Ministry of Information and Communications Technology says the implementation of the presidential directive that government ministries, departments and agencies should migrate to digital transactions is on the right course. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, during the State of the Nation address last month, directed that all MDAs should digitize their operations. Speaking during a stakeholder engagement on Digital Malawi project in Blantyre, the PS Prosper Mupiwa said they will achieve the directive by making sure that there is connectivity even in the remotest of areas.
This is also in line with the directive that was given by the President of the Republic of Malawi. And for us as a government responsible for the provision of ICTs for every single Malawian, we've taken this as a step. And this step is the one route that is going to provide this connectivity that the president has emphasized on. And also at the same time, once the connectivity has been done, we are going to provide government services through that connectivity. And the objective is that every single Malawian that is in the rural area should not be able to travel all the way from there to respective headquarters of government service providers. We're talking about the immigration department, we're talking about road traffic, and others that provide the government services to citizens of Malawi. We're saying that it's high time that we now go to them, provide them with these services where they stay, and not make them travel all the way from wherever they stay at. So this is also in line with the directive that the President of the Republic of Malawi, Professor Atabita Mutharika, had given us in his SONA speech, and we're just merely implementing his vision.
Public-Private Partnership Commission Chief Executive Officer Patrick Abambe said they will call for bidders to erect network towers in rural areas in the coming 2 months.
So this is why today we're meeting the private sector, because the private sector are a better place to deliver these services. In the presentation today, we've explained the process we have gone through to identify the 100 sites that will have these cell towers. We've also explained the selection criteria for the 500 public institution sites. All the groundwork has been done, and we will be calling for bids in the months of April, May from private sector to give us proposals on how they can deliver this. So if we get these bids, if we do that bids in April, May, we can be assured that within this year, the rollout will begin.
You're watching MBC News and you are with me, Evelis Chingambe. Reminder of the top stories. Parliament passes the 2026-2027 national budget pegged at 10.97 trillion hwaja. Parents and guardians urged to ensure that their wards aged 0 to 10 get vaccinated for polio. And government reviews its national cultural policy to establish a conducive environment for women in the creative industry.
Something big is coming on NBC. Not what you've seen before. A new force is about to hit the road. Crafted for presence, engineered for power, designed to turn every head before it even arrives. You'll hear it before you see it. You'll feel it before you know it. This isn't just another launch. It's the beginning of advanced broadcasts. Unveiling soon on NBC. Stay ready.
Welcome back. Religious groups and parents have been requested to allow their children access the polio vaccine which government has rolled out in the country. Director of Health and Sanitation Services from Mzimba North, Dr. Wamaka Msopole, gave the request in Zuzu during the launch of the campaign in Mzimba North. Blessings Gondwe reports.
The vaccination against polio is targeting children under the age of 10. The exercise is taking place from 24 to 27 March 2026. Speaking after the launch of the campaign at Zolozolo Primary School in Mzuzu, Mzimba North Director of Health and Sanitation Services, Dr. Wamaka Msopole, said community members, including religious groups, are being urged to allow their children to take the oral vaccine, which is crucial in preventing polio.
Strategically engaging those communities. So for example, we are meeting the leadership of some of the communities that we know are usually hesitant to take up vaccinations. And we've also gone further to intensify our sensitization of the whole Zimba North community, including the city. So we are not leaving any community behind, but we know there are certain communities that we pay special attention to.
Mayor from Zoo City, Chiembegezo Moses, said the council is facilitating the vaccination campaign.
We have already engaged the block leaders, the councillors, to tell the community that they should take their children for vaccination.
In Zimba North, 176,000 children are being targeted in the polio vaccination campaign. Blessings Gondwe, MBC News, Muzuzu.
Still on issues of health, over 500,000 children under the ages of 10 have been targeted for polio vaccination in Mangochi. Chief Preventive Health Officer for the district, John Wijera, says apart from the provision of the vaccine in public health facilities, health officials will move door to door to administer the vaccine, while some will be in strategic places such as schools. The polio vaccination campaign is being conducted across the country following detection of a polio case in Blantyre. The vaccination campaign has been launched on Tuesday this week.
We have done a number of interventions, including the deck that we have today, and we have also briefed the HEC members, and we have also briefed the local leaders as well as the religious leaders. And at the same time, today in the morning, we also launched the campaign at Makawa Primary School. So far, so good. I think we have started at a high note. Our expectation is for them to bring the children to the sites where the vaccine will be administered. Because polio is a dangerous disease, it's a deadly disease, and it's incurable. So once the child is vaccinated against polio, it means the child is protected forever. So our expectation is for them to bring all the children to the sites that have been established by the HSS in the communities.
Poor hygiene and sanitation in public health facilities continues to derail efforts made in the WASH sector. Civil society organizations in the health sector in Mangochi made the remarks during a solidarity march and petition presentation to the district council addressing water, sanitation and hygiene WASH issues in public health facilities. Sotendazi has compiled this report, being read by Owen Mavula.
A report by civil society organizations in the health sector at Mangochi District Council has revealed that some health facilities in the district are operating without functional water systems, a development the organizations say has potential of putting lives of expectant mothers at high risk of contracting disease. As part of lobbying for improved condition of the facilities, the civil society organizations held a solidarity march to present their concerns to the council. According to chairperson for the health thematic group, Blessings Maulidi, the group is appealing to the council to consider increasing resources towards the health sector to ease the existing challenges, among other things.
We want the council to improve sanitation in our health facilities. We had time to visit our health facilities where we noticed some problems like broken water systems, unmaintained water systems, lack of enough wash facilities. So we want the council, when delivering their budgets or when planning, they should prioritize health systems and wash for women.
In his remarks, District Commissioner for Mangochi, Rodney Simaka, acknowledged the issues and said the council is working to address them.
They have done well to raise the issues with us. After all, we as a district government were responsible to address those issues. So I'm happy that they have come forward, they have presented the petition, including the issues there in the petition.
Meanwhile, the civil society organizations are also calling on development partners to help address the challenges.
In a related development, some people in Mzuzu have turned the space behind St. John of God University into a waste dumping site, a development that is putting lives at risk of contracting diseases such as cholera. while one of the block leaders at Chiwanja, Joe Makiwinga, says they presented the matter to Mzuzu City Council for intervention. The council spokesperson, McDonald Kondwe, says the council is not responsible for collecting waste from the mentioned area. Simeon Siska has filed this report, being read by Jisomo Manda.
A space behind St. John of God University, which was a passage for people, is now a dumping site for waste from Zigwagwa Market and some surrounding households. The concerned residents say that development is posing a threat to their health.
Here, these waste pose threat to our life, which can lead to the diseases like cholera. We are unpleased with the place. The place which we are seeing is ours, but people throw litters here. We are disheartened with the issue.
We are unable to do our business properly because the place is unhygienic.
When contacted on the issue, spokesperson for the Mzuzu City Council, McDonald Kondwe, said the mentioned area is not in the jurisdiction of the waste collection and has advised the concerned residents to discuss the matter with their block leaders.
So far, I think we haven't received a formal complaint as a council. So if there are issues, let them channel them to the council, and we should be able to attend to such issues. If not, the other option is that they can take up the issues to the local leadership.
However, the block leader, Joe Makiwinga, insists that they need the council to intervene on the matter.
I've been to the city almost 3 times. We even asked the city people to provide us a bin where people can throw those rubbish, but we have never been assisted.
Waste management continues to be a challenge in cities, the situation that is influenced by rapid population growth, among others.
Government is reviewing Malawi's national cultural policy to strengthen protection for women in the arts and create a more supportive environment for their creativity. The move comes amid growing concerns over stigma and abuse faced by women in the creative industry. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, James Ndalama, made the remarks in Longwe during the inaugural National Conference of Women Creatives. Emmanuel Chikonso reports.
Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, Jameson Ndalama, says many women in the arts face stigma, including accusations of prostitution and verbal abuse as they pursue their careers. He says government is committed to creating an inclusive environment where women can thrive, hence the ongoing policy review.
This is the national cultural policy, which was not very clear in some areas on how women can be supported. So it's we are doing consultations, all the challenges coming from the women, other observers, activists will be taken on board. And the government will also make sure that it is women friendly so that they can also do their programs in arts like what other men are doing.
Participants at the conference welcomed the development, describing it as a step in the right direction. Some have raised concern over negative public perceptions, while others are calling for stronger unity among women to withstand criticism and discrimination.
It's a thing that we are crying for Malawi, as Mangan being a VP, that whenever we are doing whatever we are doing, please, we need your support, because we can't go far if you're not supported.
You can never be what you want to become if you want to walk alone. We still need to work with people. Now having conferences like this where women are able to come and show what they're doing, the art, I think it's very important, because in that way we'll be able to empower each other, to be able to say, okay, my work is not devalued as I thought.
I really want to see young women really playing as men, because if you see most women, you'll see them performing, backing, vocals and the like, but then the balance is not yet there.
The inaugural National Conference of Women Creatives has brought together female artists from music, film, fashion, and other sectors to address challenges affecting women in the industry. The conference is also focusing on promoting equality and fair treatment in the creative sector. Emmanuel Chikonso, MBC News, Lilongwe.
And that's it from our newsroom. A recap of our top stories before we leave. Parliament passes the 2026-2027 national budget pegged at 10.97 trillion kwacha. Parents and guardians urged to ensure that their wards aged 0 to 10 get vaccinated for polio. And government reviews its national cultural policy to establish a conducive environment for women in the creative industry. For more updates, visit MBC Digital on Facebook, X and Instagram. You've been with me, Evelis Chingambe. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.
Last year, I teamed up with the European Union to visit Mulanje and see the impact of its partnership on local businesses. I learned that a small spark can ignite lasting change. A loan from the village bank became a bakery that changed lives.
I'm going to bakery. Komaso imatiendera chifukwa anthu ambiri ndife azimayi ozidalira pa ife tokha komaso tiyendera zigogo.
A transformed community soaring high.
This team, Mbola, Mene, muli nkhani zenizeni. Nkhani zokutino muzitsate bwinobwino.
Nkhani ngandonena kuti khandi kupanga chibwezi mnyamata iko zakafolo. Leti napita maloneke kuti tikatani kuti tikachezi.
Mimi ndilo panga chibwezi sinabile kukaizesa magazi.
Wokonzeka kuti muvena umalizati amagaza.
Paiza semana nabwera nakhangalira nani ankomera iyeyo. Ine sisinayendi.
Eni yake kuzifotokoza, kusanthula komanso kuthula nkhawa zawo. Ndizikupatsirani program imeneyi ndine mkhozi komanso mulutsi Andrea. Don't miss kuyambira April imwe.
It's a great ball in, and Malawi have drawn level.
The power of television is so present in our lives. TV is a responsibility not only in entertaining and informing people, but using this medium of communication in positive ways to teach and enlighten people. Some years ago, Malawi saw the birth of its first television station, Television Malawi, TVM. It kept all of us excited and glued. And this 1st of April, we celebrate its 27th anniversary. Join us for our special broadcast on this day. Make a date with us as we celebrate the anniversary of Television Malawi on 1st April 2026. It's going to be a fantastic and exciting moment, and you don't want to miss it. And surely, nothing is really real unless it happens on television.
MBC, inspiring the nation.
Tikulandireni ku programu inanso ya Unpacked pano pa MBC. Iyi ndi program